Let's try it.
Okay.
Welcome to the Morning Ramble. I'm Matt.
I'm Eric.
Este episodio de la mañana es traído a usted por la tristeza.
It is I, Beto O'Rourke, and Booker, and
I didn't know you speak O'Rourke.
I do speak fluent
okay.
O'Rourke.
Okay. O'Rourke? O'Rourke?
I can't hear anything anymore.
Oh, your headphones aren't working?
I must have.
Well, it's still recording.
Yeah, I must have popped off or something. Please hold. Yeah, something got a little wonky there.
Good now?
Yep. All right.
Well, as you can tell, we are going to be talking about the debate.
You know,
Plural.
honestly, I feel like that meme where it's the small white girl and she's about to get like a train run on her by the people behind the couch.
I don't think I know that meme.
Well, don't look it up. It's dangerous.
Okay.
I feel like that girl
Yeah.
because there's so many titans of intellectual superiority vying for our votes. Like, Jesus Christ,
All right, well,
dude.
So I know you said you watched most of it. I watched both debates this week, both nights, start to finish. And
They were about as bad as I expected.
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try to do this. Or let's talk about night one first, I guess. So night one, we had. There's the photo. I'm not going to pull up my phone. Booker and Warren and
Beto.
Habla Inglés.
His accent was so bad.
I know. So
Oh,
yeah, the
man.
debate started off, and the reason why we're making fun of O'Rourke was literally the commentator. I forget her name from MSNBC. She just looks right at Beto O'Rourke, former congressman, and then asks him a very specific question about a tax plan, and instead of answering it, he just comes out. No habla inglés, and just starts speaking Spanish. I don't know what he said. I don't think anyone said he didn't answer it in that question, but I just thought it was funny. And then what was trending was Booker's face. Did you see it?
That was pretty great.
Booker's just like, "Excuse me,
Also,
I speak
yeah,
Spanish too." Like,
he speaks it well too.
he does. No, he is a lot more fluent.
But like Booker like actually speaks like a person who speaks Spanish, and Beto was like, "Yes,
I did Rosetta Stone.
habla un poco español."
Yes. ¿Dónde está el baño?
That's kind of funny.
No.
Night one was a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah. I want to go through. In my opinion, I feel like the winner of night one was definitely Booker and Warren. Booker, I feel like had the most informed answers. And Warren, no one really took any shots at Warren, and that
It was actually funny because
Yeah.
a lot of people were saying that one of the other dudes in the debate, I forget his name, won the debate, but
not De Blasio, right?
no.
Everyone
no,
hates-
De Blasio was night two, wasn't he?
No, night one.
Oh, he was
with
night
Booker.
one.
Yeah, because it was. It's funny because De Blasio was just interrupting everyone. The guy, I hate to bring in someone's looks, but the guy is like 6'10" and looks like I don't know. He was interrupting everyone, and I thought it was funny how literally 1-2 answer you had De Blasio just like, "Excuse me, I have a black son," and then next answer Booker's like, what Mayor de Blasio was saying, "I'm also black," and then like it was just like one after the other, and I was just waiting for Warren to come out speaking like Cherokee or whatever, like
So I
doing
don't-
some chants.
I know that it's one of those things where we don't want to rely too heavily on polls. Mm-hmm. But they are.
I'm interested.
They are kind of our basic idea of how to see how a candidate is doing.
Yeah.
So I will say I was very surprised by the latest thing, but we'll get to that once we get to night two. Mm-hmm. So basically, there hasn't really been any movement
Didn't think there would
when
be.
it comes to
Yeah.
Booker and O'Rourke. There has been a significant movement with one candidate.
Mm-hmm. Well, O'Rourke, everyone seemed like he was just beating up on him. That's my impression of him. Like everyone was just kind of going after him.
O'Rourke has been steadily losing support.
Yeah, I mean,
Booker has stayed roughly the same.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually gained a little bit recently. And we're talking about single percentages thing.
Yeah. Like,
so this is where we have to kind of talk about what is the major benefit to having a debate.
Well, name recognition is the main thing.
Yeah.
For a lot of the lower candidates.
That's fine and all, but when it comes down to it, do we know a lot more about any of these candidates' standings?
I do. I will say that I do. Just because, honestly, I'm not...
Considering that most of the stuff was already on their website.
Well, no, it was. And I didn't really go to everyone. I went to a couple of them, but I didn't go to everyone's. And obviously, I'm not voting in the primary for any of them, so really I don't matter right now. But... like Inslee, Governor Inslee of Washington, I guess his big focus is climate change. Like, that was like his main thing. A little extreme for me, but he was like, rah. Delaney, the one guy, he was, did you see the one reaction? Like, they're like, is he, Congressman Delaney, and then like asked him a question, and he's just like, oh, is that me? Is that me? Like, he was just so. Oh, you're gonna talk. You're talking to me now.
So
like,
surprised to even be asked a question.
It was funny. I don't blame him. He was probably daydreaming the whole time.
Like, the fact of the matter is, I don't feel like I got a lot out of the debates.
Yeah.
When it comes to knowing their positions on things or anything.
Well,
or
definitely not the
learning
main.
anything.
Definitely not the main candidates because it was.
I mean, with the smaller candidates, I learned a little bit about them, but I don't care.
Yeah, there's a couple of them like
at all.
Like Delaney, Inslee, Michael Bennett. That's night two. Don't know why they're up there. Well, let's talk a little bit of night two, and then we can go into some of the topics that we're focused on. Night two, we had we had Biden, we had Bernie. Bernie, honestly, we've seen it all. Literally no new talking points from him. Honestly, if someone would Photoshop Clinton next to him, I would have been like, oh, this is from 2016. Biden was a little interesting to see. I'll get on the second point of him in a second. And then Harris, I think she was probably the biggest winner from night two.
Harris won that night.
Definitely.
I think that's actually the point that I was going to make on this.
Well, I think she took a couple cheap shots in a second, and I think a lot of it was rehearsed. I'll give you some examples. Mayor Pete, he came out not too happy with some of this. I feel like from my standpoint, and you people probably know why I'm not too happy with him. I just feel like a lot of it was misleading, some of the stuff that he had to say. And then my favorite candidate and all these people, Andrew Yang, got literally the shortest amount of talk time out of everyone, I think out of both debates, 3 minutes. And there's a reason for that. But
All right, so when it comes to the polls that are running from now, the poll on the 26th to the 27th had Biden leading at 33, Sanders at 17, Warren at 17, and Harris at 7.
Okay. I'm guessing Harrison jumped up a lot.
Harris is now in third place.
Wow. With what?
With 17%. She jumped 10%.
So she jumped 10%. Who got hit the most then? If she wasn't
Warren got hit 3 points,
okay.
But basically it was the candidates underneath her that were losing 1 or 2%, all adding up to that. So Booker and O'Rourke both lost 1%.
Okay.
Buttigieg.
So everyone in night one
the same.
Went down. What you just said, Warren, Booker, and O'Rourke, they all went down.
Much.
And I think that was, I think that was just based off of that. Well,
like a lot of people were saying like, oh, this is like a thing where they're stacked night two, so night one doesn't matter, and then night one people lose things. They didn't have to put all of those people in the debates. Literally, they said the polling number was 2% or something.
They allowed
like that?
20 people. Yeah, it was. No, I think it was 1%,
which is ludicrous to me.
Yeah, it's
like there should be.
Well,
at
you
least
also
like
need to have
4 or 5%.
You need to have 65,000 individual donors as well for the first debate. The second and the third debate, you need to have at least 130,000.
Right.
Which Andrew Yang just passed last night, by the way. So real quick, focusing on Harris before we move from her. So one thing I want to, it's not really a criticism of her because honestly it was it played in her favor, obviously, was I feel like a lot of her lines were she had a couple lines banked on the side. One of the main ones that's going viral right now is everyone's kind of yelling at each other, and she kind of hushes everyone and says, Americans don't want a food fight. They want to know how we're going to put food on their table, which is a ludicrous statement in my opinion. Like, I don't want the government feeding my family. I could do that. Thank you very much. But that gained her a lot of applause and stuff, and I think she kind of had that statement rehearsed and banked, waiting for an outburst to be like, excuse me. Like,
Eric, we've been in debates before.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
No, it's not a criticism of her. It was a great thing to have.
It's a great way to win a debate.
And then the second thing that's been very viral is how she went after Joe Biden, which was extremely smart.
She destroyed that.
Well, here's the thing with Biden. I felt like,
funny.
you tell me, I felt like he was really on the ropes defending the last 30 years of his running.
He was.
And also he was there defending Obama in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Even from the commentators, when I think one of the quick things was saying, like, Obama didn't get to address climate change and healthcare, obviously. He only got to do healthcare. And then when it got, what would you focus on in your first term? And it got to Biden. Biden's like, I think you're completely misrepresenting Obama, which I do agree with him, actually, because Obama did do a lot, whether I agree with it or not, in the international scheme of things with NATO, with the whole Paris Agreement and stuff. But anyway, he was on the defensive. There was that whole busing thing. I don't feel like getting into it because really I don't quite understand it. Something about public busing and how the government didn't step in to override California state law on public transportation. I don't really know anything about it.
Maybe we should have looked into it a little bit further, but I think
there's too much.
I think that it matters that we kind of come at this as, informed lay people.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if we know everything, then we suddenly get the idea that we know everything. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying. I think we're pretty informed. I think we're more informed than the average American, but it's not like I looked up every single thing because I just didn't. But yeah, definitely Biden playing defensive. That helped Harris out. Who else? Mayor Pete. He came out with some pretty hard lines that went to his base really well, and I think that I don't know how much he went up. Did he go up at all?
Nothing.
He just stayed this. Really? That's surprising. How about Yang? Nothing?
Same.
Okay, same.
1%.
Real quick on Yang. Yang got 3 minutes, and the reason why I'm focusing on him is because out of all the Democrats, he's my favorite. I don't agree with him on everything, but I do like some of his policies. Not in talking about the UBI, that whole 1,000 thing. I don't even care about that, really. But he wasn't willing to interrupt, I saw. He was very quiet. When he was called upon, he answered. That's another thing about debate, too. Did you notice that? Every time they asked him a question, you were lucky if you got the right answer out of one of those candidates. Like, I think one time they asked Bennett a specific question on something that he has said in the past, and he just goes off talking about something Harris talked about previously. Like, he didn't even answer the question. And I'm just like, are they listening?
Yeah, that's been something that's bothered me about debates for a long time.
They just they want to make sure they get their talking points in. They want to get that sound clip. That whole Harris with the food fight thing, like that was a soundbite. They want to get that one soundbite, and then you had Yang over there answering questions concisely and, with thought and facts. Get that out of here. But I
mean, debates are basically just rolling in the mud. That's
trying to get the sound bites. I mean, we saw 3 years ago. Trump with the sound bites, Rubio, everyone just trying to get those sound bites in. It's the same thing. I felt like there was a little bit more arguing, though, as far as, like, ideas 3 years ago. Like, no one really agreed on a lot of stuff, I feel like right now everyone was kind of just like, no, I'm giving health care to everyone. No, I'm giving health care to everyone. No, I'm going to provide women's rights. I don't know. There was a bunch of – it was like who's fighting for the top Oh, and real quick, since we got talking about facts, what's her name? Marcia Williamson, the one lady on Night 2. She's gonna fight Trump with love.
Oh, the environmental
what's her name?
Weirdo.
I don't even know what she is. Is she an author or something? I don't know.
She's a self-help author.
Oh, that's why she's gonna fight him with love. I don't know.
Well, that is his weakness.
That is. I think I saw. What was it? Was it Colbert? I forget who the comedian was. It was just like she's gonna fight Trump with love, and then he's just like, and President Trump's heart grew 3 times bigger that time. That's funny. But
it just reminds me of Jill Stein.
Oh,
with her stupid hippie band
Yeah.
that came out a couple years ago.
Yep. She really hurt Clinton. She really hurt Clinton last election, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so I think the winner of definitely night 2 was Harris. I was going to say Mayor Pete, but if he didn't move, I guess he didn't move. I mean, he's already his name is kind of well recognized, I guess.
I didn't assume that he was going to move up because Harris went from a fairly low percentage. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was still above Pete, but
yeah, he just kind of stayed.
Like, she just skyrocketed in the polls, and that's the kind of thing that pisses me off about early debates.
Yeah,
and I know that I don't need to watch them.
No one needs to.
Nobody needs to.
So
the idea of complaining about it kind of seems disingenuous and stupid.
Yeah,
but I don't care what Hickenlooper or De Blasio has to say. They have not a chance in hell to be president. I know it. They have to know it. Mm-hmm. Why are you wasting our time?
Yeah.
And the other person who we were just talking about.
Oh, what's her name? Yeah, the love lady.
She's wasting my time, too. She has no chance in it. Now, Harris has a chance, which I wouldn't have said last week. But, I mean, I don't foresee Hickenlooper or Inslee or any of those. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing special about them. There's nothing special about them. Even some of the lower people like Mayor Pete and Andrew Yang, they have some interesting concepts about them. Even though they're extremely low, as soon as some of those middle people leave, I think you might see some gains. But real quick, I want to talk about I'm going to use the word hate, and I don't use it lightly. There is one candidate that I despise in many different fashions. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is it Santa?
Nope. It's not even Bernie. Eric Swalwell. I want to talk about this guy. So this guy, I'm going to debate 2. I think they asked it. So real quick, debate 1. So they asked about gun control. Obviously, that was a big topic that came up somewhere in the middle. And one question that they kept asking Warren and everyone was, if everyone agreed that they want to do an assault weapons ban. That was just concise across the whole board. All 20 candidates agreed on that. But, which I'm glad the commentators did this, they asked, there is already millions of assault weapons in America. Okay, semi-automatic, whatever, military-styled weapons. What will you do about the ones that are already out there? And they were trying to get, will you do a confiscation? But they weren't using that word. They were saying buyback. Okay? And Warren kind of did, they asked her, I think 3 times, and she was really good at dodging that question. She's like, we need to treat it like a sickness. She used a lot of different terms. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did.
She was very dodgy, and I think that was smart on her, to be honest. Because I don't think she actually would do that. But I think she won't come out and say that purely that she wouldn't, because that would not really play well right now early on. I think that could hurt her. So night 2, we move on, and they ask the same question. Eric Swalwell comes right out. Mandatory buyback, which, let's translate that, confiscation of firearms of that particular kind. That was definitely something. And then they asked, raise their hands, who would do that? And 3 people raised their hands. Swalwell, Harris, and Biden, which was a little surprising. Those 3, they came out right out the gate and said, yes.
I mean, it's also a complete possibility that Biden didn't understand the question. I'm sorry, man.
They ask a question, raise the hands. Biden's just like, yes. I don't know what you asked, but absolutely.
I'm sorry, man. I know he's leading the polls and everything, but I have zero faith in Biden.
I don't think he's going to win, but I think it's going to, I don't know who would take that spot. I would be surprised if it was Bernie. I really would, because he's not really the favorite right now.
No, I'd be.
Right now, he's just kind of burning off of 3 years ago. The people who are behind him 3 years ago. Yeah. I really do think that someone in the middle is going to take over. But
I think a younger candidate is needed.
Well, that was another thing Eric Swalwell said. The whole that was the pass the torch. That was a good thing he said.
That was good.
He came. So for people who didn't watch the debate, I'll just explain. So he came out. Eric Swalwell came out and said, 30 years ago, I was 6 years old, and a congressman came by the state. Campaigning or whatever, and said, pass the torch to the generation or whatever. Pass the torch from the older generation then. He's like, I was 6 years old then, and that congressman's name was Joe Biden. So, and that was a huge punch right to the gut. And then they went to Biden. He's like, I'm still holding on to the torch. So, yeah, that was good. He used his words to fight him. So that was good for him. I don't know if he went up at all. No, probably not. No. I don't like that man. I don't know. I just feel like he's very disingenuous. And I'm very against his, speaking real quick on different gun policies. I was going to talk to you about this outside the podcast, but I think I want to bring Tad on again. And I think I would like to go through some of the policies that the Democrats have out, just because he is a Democrat and he is more, I would say, loose with his, like, what he thinks, like, with the whole Second Amendment and gun control than I am. And I'm not a Democrat. So I think it'd be kind of interesting to go through some of them. Like, some candidates have that there should be mandatory, like, hunter shooting and safety courses for people who want to buy firearms. Now, he is 110%. I can speak for him. I know for a fact he is 110% against that. I'm kind of in the middle.
I'm for that.
Yeah, so you're for that. And
I don't... like, when I went to went to become a hunter when I was 11, 12, you had to go take a
when you're younger, yes. Yeah. And like,
what difference does it make if you're older?
Well, I think it's based off the whole federally issued, like federally you have to do this. And I think because same thing here, when I started hunting, my dad put me in one, and I really enjoyed it. And honestly, if there was another version of that, I would go do it again, just because I enjoy that kind of stuff, talking about hunting and different things like that. And if they do a shooting safety course or whatever, that'd be something I might be interested in. But it's all about federally mandating it, because it is a human right. It's pretty much the reason why a lot of people are against it are, you have the right to defend yourself, but first you got to take this test. That's the thing. Anyway,
that just seems like it's not that big of an inconvenience.
Well, that's why I want to have him on.
Maybe don't know.
I'll argue with you about it.
Like, I just don't want Tad to shoot me. Hi, Tad.
Yeah, right. But anyway, that's a big thing. But that's some of the lighter, I think, some of the Democrats that do view that. But that's not the radical one. I'm going to use the word radical because I think gun confiscation is very dangerous. I don't know.
Yes, I think that
in
the
this
government
country,
taking property away from people who own that property is screwed up, which is also why I'm against eminent domain.
Well, that's the whole and that's the whole buyback thing, though. Like, we're going to give you money for it, but a lot of people
That's what they do with eminent domain, too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Except smaller.
Smaller. Well, technically, wouldn't it be bigger because they're taking land? No.
Well, no, the
I see what you're saying. They're just taking the gun, yeah. Which I've seen funny memes. Some people they're just like, when someone tries to do a buyback program, oh no, there goes all my guns in my boat. And like, it's a sinking like fishing boat. Like, oh, they're all on that boat. But yeah, so I guess we'll see. I think September is the next round.
That's longer than I expected.
Oh, wait a minute. I almost forgot. How did I forget this? Hold on.
For a second there, I thought you were pulling out your gun, and I was like, what?
I almost forgot this. Bam, bam.
Tad's now the partner on the Morning Ramble.
Right? All right. So getting out of the candidates and getting out of the debate, we're going to go to Candidate Watch.
What?
We have another announcement.
Why?
Did you see this?
Oh.
Former Congressman Joe Sestak becomes the 25th Democrat to join the presidential race.
Sestak?
Yes. He was a Pennsylvania congressman.
Yeah, I remember it.
Mm-hmm. He has joined. What do we think?
Screw that guy.
So he is now. We broke 25. We broke 24. We're now into 25.
Stop.
Because we needed another.
Just stop.
There wasn't enough. There wasn't enough.
Just stop.
I feel like we need a good 30 multiple choice.
Like, I kind of hope that they up the amount, like, percentage-wise, that you need to get back into the next debate.
It's 130,000 donors.
I don't care about their donors. I want
all you have to do is donate $1.
Yeah, I want percentages.
I think donors is a good measure.
Is it?
Because it's individual people giving to your campaign. It's not based off of the amount of money. It's not based of the polls or some arbitrary TV station.
So it's guaranteed votes.
The DNC. It's people who say, I want to contribute to this person's campaign. whether it's $1 or $100 or $1,000. It doesn't matter. It's that one person contributing. So I actually do agree with that.
Yeah, but we have a bunch of 1%ers who are managing.
They have over
to
65,000 people
get in there and waste our
now.
time.
If you want to up the amount of people that need to donate,
that'd be great.
That's 65,000, and then now it's 130 for the next 2 debates.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like Yang, but
no, I know.
I want to see people talk for more than 5 minutes total. And it's hard to put together everything that every candidate says unless you're trying to keep track of it. Because
I tried night one.
They'll
posted
talk in minute 10, and then they'll talk again in minute 65.
Exactly.
And it's
unless
hard to
they
keep track of
interrupt,
that. Unless they interrupt. Yeah.
I think the main people that interrupted, like De Blasio was big. Christine Gillibrand, which we haven't talked about yet, but she was interrupting left and right. Which again, I don't blame them, kind of, because it's hard. And you can't really split up to like 8 different nights, because then you're going to have one night where you got De Blasio, Yang, and Delaney. And it's like, who wants to watch that? Like,
Yeah.
So.
I also have accidentally been calling Yang Wang. And I don't know why.
Well, he has the whole thing, the Yang Gang. That's his.
What?
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know
Yeah, his
that.
thing is hashtag the Yang Gang. That's what he calls his followers. Yeah, no, I like Yang.
That's
I find
actually
him
pretty cool.
I find him interesting.
All right.
But I think, is that all? No one's watching, but I think that, because who wants to watch 2 people talk about debates they didn't watch?
Hey, have a good day.
I got this big mug.
America.
Talk about it. It's a America mug. It's nice. All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
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 My coffee was cold.
That's why I started chugging mine
Yeah, right?
halfway through, because it was... Ugh.